Well, hello once again from Adrian Michael Rees, and welcome to some bonus World Super Touring car footage ahead of Season 3. Now, alongside me is Christian Shepherd, as per usual.
That I am.
And alongside us, for a change, you heard him at the end of the Brands Hatch round for obvious reasons. It's Michael Swinnerton.
Hello.
Now, as you can see, we are at Catalonia, and with good reason. We, unfortunately, much to our own chagrin, and a certain chagrin of technical camera people who couldn't be able to keep broadcasting footage of a track in the wet, weather got into the works on a title decider of all things, for which we profusely apologise for. So we need to recap on that. We did see the end of a magnificent first race around the Nordschleife with multiple pit stops. And at the end of that race, it was discovered that Sabine Wittmann and Nico Wirtz were tied on points. Whoever won race 2 was effectively going to win the championship. Whoever finished highest, with no drama elsewhere, won the race. Now, Sophia Schneider in the BMW capped off a captivating rally from BMW to get the constructors title. Sabine Wittmann finished 4th and Nico Wirtz 7th, which meant Wittmann became Season 2 World Super Touring champion, and that's why she is going to be running the number 1 on the car. I remember watching this race. The atmosphere was a bit anticlimactic because the weather was appalling. It was just down to who managed to keep it on the ground. I think that was fair to say, wasn't it, Christian? That we didn't really have a good race to end the season on, and it's perhaps a relief that we didn't have the camera footage for it.
It's a shame we didn't have the camera footage for it, in all fairness. But yeah, it was a bit lacklustre, unfortunately, after the excitement of race 1, rather admittedly.
As for lacklustre, Swindon, having, in your fairness, the mistakes had been made in race 1, a rally drive to get a handful of points in race 2 in that weather.
Well, you're telling me it was lackluster for you guys, but clearly the camera didn't go on me because I threw it off about 4 times.
Oh dear.
I had a bad pointsless weekend, but we'd done enough over the rest of the season to secure the independence title, so that's something at least.
3 points, having clinched the independence in that first race as well, despite all the mistakes. Now, we are at Catalonia for test day for Season 3. And that's why we're kind of pointing the camera in this direction, so we didn't spoil it for you. But as you'll see shortly, Sabine Wittmann has got the number 1 on the Green Alpha, and her teammate, Fabrizio Fisichella, has the number 2. Right. So Swinnerton is going to be our man in the pits for the season, and he's going to be the guy on the grid for what's going to happen for Season 3. Swinny, take it away.
Right, so allow me to do my best Martin Brundle impression without the celebrities getting in the way. So here is the grid for Season 3. Moving down the order here, as Adrian just pointed out, Wittmann, our champion, car number 1. Nothing much different with Alfa Romeo. They're keeping the same driver lineup this year, and the same livery. If it ain't broke, why on earth would you fix it? Hello, Fizzy. Moving on, we have BMW, who did secure the constructors title last year, but as per the numbering system, they get cars 3 and 4 this year. And the big thing you will notice, that's an M4, not an M2, as the regulations changed in such a way to stipulate that the model you sell, the model you use on the race in the racing, there must be a 5-door option for it. You can still run a 3-door, but there must be a 5-door option for the consumer to buy. There is no 5-door option for the BMW M2. Therefore, they've had to revert back to this older model of M4. But pre-season testing, I've heard through the grapevine that this car is actually a bit nicer to drive because the wheelbase is a bit longer, so it's a little bit more stable in the back end. So we'll see if Weber and Schneider here will be able to make use of that with this snazzy new livery they've got on. Same deal for Volkswagen. There is no 5-door Sirocco, so they have been forced to move to the Golf. This Golf has a lot of straight line speed, but again, through the grapevine, there's work to be done in the corners for these cars, so we'll see how well they do this year. Moving on to Renault. Renault keeping the old Megane, but they've brought a bit of a downforce and upgrade package with them this year, with this huge new rear wing on the back of the car, and a slight change to the livery, but keeping the same driver lineup. They hope to possibly move forward from where they are currently, though they are, used to being solid midfielders, so they at least don't want to go backwards. Moving on, one of the other new cars for this year is this. Honda have brought out the new FL5 spec Honda Civic. This thing is, again, slightly longer wheelbase. In pre-season testing, what I've been told is this thing handles like a rear-wheel drive car. It's that good. So they are very, very confident about this season. And, best of luck to them with it. And the other thing is, with Nielsen stepping down and retiring, they have hired a young Dutch rookie, Nicky Lammers, to take over the running of the second car, with Jason Thompson moving up to a team leader role. So we'll see how Lammers does as one of the rookies in this season. Getting on further down the grid, we have Ford. Ford have not really changed much other than the livery. It's still the same focus. We have Carlos Palou, team leader, as they have now got a new hire. They're one of the other rookies for this season, Marcus Salo, hailing from Finland. We'll see how well he does with his rallycross experience. He might do quite well in that thing. Furthermore, last of the constructors is Toyota. Again, they're consolidating with what they had and what they got last year. So they're keeping the same driver lineup, same car, same pretty much everything. They've just worked on the car over the season, hoping to get some more results over this. Hello, yes.
If I can interject there. We noticed these guys were struggling towards the end of last season. We were hoping for some sort of development for this, and it looks, if my eyes don't deceive me, that these are the exact same car in all but interior alone.
Yes.
I can't see any.
These are the same Crown Athlete. I'm pretty sure this was a press release over the course of the off season. But Toyota want to run the Corolla, right? But they want to run the GR Corolla. And as the rules as are written right now means they'd have to run the 4-wheel drive one. 4-wheel drive is not permitted in this championship. And they're trying to work on a waiver of maybe run the GR Corolla, but shunt all the power to the rear so they can run it under a waiver. Maybe running a standard Corolla, they don't know. So in the interim, as Toyota and the series organizers have not managed to work anything out before now, it means that Toyota is stuck running this Crown Athlete still, which is not what Toyota want. So we'll see what happens there.
Excellent. And now we're on to the reason why you're on the grid and not in a car.
Yes.
And wow,
it's a team leader.
That's
now.
A colour change.
Yes, it is. So this is the privateer grid, and this is the big change. Press F for the charcoal void. It is no longer in use.
So how did you
get this one then?
How did you get Irwin on board then? The sponsorship, the main sponsorship for your car.
Through a mutual contact of mine who is an Australian, and Irwin being an Australian tools manufacturer, they were happy to come on board with the new car, and our new hire, Anthony Ingram, plucked him from various hot hatch championships that I've seen him run in. Very, very quick little driver. We'll see how he does with this new car. We're still running without any kind of manufacturer support, so this is a fully privateer entry, and we are the only Mazda on the grid as per usual. We've just downsized from a 6 to a 3. So where I was running a rear-wheel drive car, Anthony is now running a front-wheel drive car, which is something that he's used to. So that is essentially an upgrade for us.
Would that have been something that you would have driven then, had it been?
Oh, I've got no preference over front or rear. Both are fun. Both have their advantages. It was just easier for me to work on, being a team owner rather than just a driver, which already we're seeing the dividends pay off for that, because I've actually managed to secure as a title sponsor.
Like, and
Speaking
hello to
of
Garage
which,
57 as well. Go on,
well,
Christian.
since you've managed to grab yourself a title sponsor, have you tried speaking to Mazda, seeing if they can't give you some manufacturer support, possibly a
Oh,
teammate for Ingram?
yeah, it's one of those things of like, the best way of putting it is never say never. Currently, it's one of those things of like, possibly. We know that they are looking into running in the planned Japanese Super Touring Championship, which is going to be an offshoot championship to this. From what I've heard, it's going to be obviously run in Japan, but that's going to allow for four-wheel drive models to entice more Japanese manufacturers in. So we'll see what happens there regarding their works effort in Japan, whether they want to translate to the World Series and stump up some money to help us run this little front-wheel drive job.
Before we go into the next drivers, you have pointed out on an offshoot the championship. This is the World Championship. Japanese Championship is going to be off anytime soon, but we have got confirmation that we will be covering the European leg of the championship as well. Looking forward to that as well. And I believe you'll be on board for the pit reports as well for that, Sweeney.
Yes. The series organisers have rapidly expanded, seeing how well this series has done. So yes, there will be, and it's an inaugural season, the European one, so we'll see how well that goes to. Ingram here, I will let you know this. Ingram has signed on with a team, so he's going to be double dipping this year in both championships. And the big difference for the European Championship is it doesn't have the 5-door rule. So I'm not sure what cars are going to be used in that championship yet, but I know Ingram's running he's running Nico Wirtz's old Sirocco, so he's in a good car.
Nice.
for the European series. But I'm not sure what else is on that grid yet. There's a lot yet to be confirmed there. So,
okay,
moving on, we have the 3M cars. These guys finished second overall in the Independence Championship, and again, same cars, not much has changed there. Vikins now team leader, and with the step down of Biffle, this is where we find Ryan Camish. He has moved from Works to Privateer. Pre-season reports say he's actually much happier in this Privateer team because there's a lot less pressure on him now, and he's able to really concentrate on his driving. So hopefully we'll see him be a bit more racy this year.
that Ford contract has paid dividends then. Did not look good throughout season 2, it must be said, and I think me and Christian kind of agreed on that. What about yourself there, Sweeney?
Yeah, I mean, there were times where I saw him, saw his back bumper out the windscreen and went, "What are you doing down here, man?" But yeah, in speaking to him, it turns out that it was the pressure of driving for a Works team and being forced to do well was playing a bit too much havoc with him mentally, and he wasn't able to get as much out of the car as he thinks he should have done. So this is much more of a stress-free environment being here in a Privateer car. So yeah, hopefully he does well from it. I look forward to seeing him, be on the back bumper of that Mazda right there and not in front of it.
We caught a glimpse of it earlier, and there it is. The biggest change to the Privateer pack is the DHL team switching to a championship-winning car.
Yes. So they didn't really want to do the quote-unquote downgrade and go to an older model car and stay with BMW and be forced to run an M4. So they hopped across the border and knocked on the door of Alfa Romeo, who apparently said yes. This is not something I've been privy to. I don't know what happened behind closed doors. I just know that we have an extra Alfa on the grid now, which is nice because it's such a pretty car.
It's unusually missing the name on the windscreen. I wonder if that's a choice from Dumas there.
Last minute.
Yeah, I think it was because it's such a last-minute deal. They haven't finalised the wrap yet. Rest assured, his name will be on the window for in the rounds to come.
Races, yeah.
Yes, and then at the back, as per usual, we have the Team Tamiya cars, which not taken away from them. They did show flashes of pace last year. They have some really good personnel with them. They are a good group of guys. It's just these Hondas are getting on a bit, and especially where they still have the old FK8 model Civic, and they haven't upgraded to the FL5s. I don't think Honda gave them the new cars yet, so they've
So
got
whilst whilst Kobayashi finished 19th in that final race of the season we missed, Rydell still managed to get 6th in the weather last season. So it's still, flashes of brilliance is what we are going to expect, but then we are going to expect them to still be a magnet at the back of the pack for season 3.
Maybe,
Only
maybe
time will
not. Who
tell.
knows? It might be that they've found some pace. I mean, these Hondas are still quick. They still have potential. So yes, we'll see what happens there. And that's it. That is your grid for season 3 of the World Super Tours. Some
Thank you very
changes, a bit of
much.
silly season going on there. But yeah, there's a lot of it that's the same. So we'll look forward to see what happens.
There were 6 independent drivers at the back. Christian, I mean, we may as well put some sort of predictions out here. Maybe we need to leave Swinney out of this because it's one of his cars is in this pack. Who do you reckon is going to get the privateer title?
Privateers. I mean, looking at the Alpha, I'd have to say that that's going to be the one to beat. As much because we haven't seen, obviously, we've not seen anything of the Mazda 3, so we don't know how well this car will perform against the other 5 there. But I mean, considering it is from Swinnerton, they've got a bit of money. For all we know, that they've got good development going on there. But no, I would have to honestly put my money on the Alpha and Dumas. Not anything against you there, Swinnerton, but it's a championship-winning car, and if it is directly from the previous season, I would have to say that's in a good place.
I'm reckoning that Kamish is going to be firing on all cylinders in that 3M. Hopefully, we'll see him getting some decent podiums. Present company accepted. I think we're looking at if we have to say Ingram, fair enough. No doubt Swinnerton's going to say Ingram as well because that's his baby right there. That's his project. But I think Kamish has got a point to prove for that season. Now, obviously, it's going to be a long season. Schedule we'll might have to go through that shortly. I can't see those Toyotas doing much. I have to go with what Swinney said about the Golfs. For some reason, they are sort of heavy, so to speak. Good position in the constructors for last season, the Scirocco. I'm torn because like it's kind of where we were in the middle of the season. It's going to be Alfa and BMW all the way.
I think it's going to be down to three manufacturers. In all fairness, the Alpha and the BMW one was certainly, and I'd like to think in some weird way that the Megans, the Renaults, may have a pop at a run at the title there. They are more race bred, I would say, those two Megans than they were previously running, and they were already doing well in those. So, outside chance, I would dare say that it's Renault as well. Although, actually, even coming to think about it, those new Civics may be quick as well. Got a bit for grabs for all of them. I'd like to see, obviously, a few different race winners, but I think overall, I think the BMWs will have it this season, to be fair, based on from what I can see.
And with it being off season, this is definitely much of a holiday time. Obviously, we haven't prepped for this, and knowing my luck, as luck would have it, the season 3 schedule is beyond me. I'm trying to rustle through any of the sort of documents I've got online to help with this.
Lucky for you, I have that.
Excellent.
And just going back to your topic, I won't make a prediction about the privateers because I do have a hand in that one. I'll make a prediction about the works cars though. It's this man right here. It's Thompson in this new Civic. Whilst this is a brand new car and they don't have the development underneath it that some of these cars further up do, from what I've heard and how excited I've heard old Jason here about this car, I think this is going to be the one to beat. If not, it might not have the race pace, but I think it will have the qualifying pace, which will then carry it through the season. Kind of like the Scirocco last year.
Which explains maybe Thompson's pace towards the end of the last season. That seemed to be a lot pacier in the last few rounds than he had been at the start of the season, although he was quicker into Lagos for round 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Jason's a very capable driver. I understand why Honda hired him from that previous privateer team that used to race with us, the Blue Square team that were running an FK2 Civic back in season 1. So yeah, he has proven himself, and I want to see him actually continue to prove himself and potentially win races this year. However,
So,
moving on to the schedule, Adrian, you
See
should now
here.
have access to that.
certainly. Thanks very much. We're back where we started season 2. It was a popular event, and Interlagos is round 1. That's going to be our jaunt down in the Southern Hemisphere. First time around, we will be back below the border, below the hemisphere, below the horizon. Barcelona National, where we're testing here, is also going to be round 2. We had some exciting events for season 2. Schedule, there's a slight subtle change to it, but A1GP and Maggiore back to back. Dragon Trail Gardens, we did have some decent racing around there. We're going around Watkins Glen, and that's the NASCAR layout, not the full boot Grand Prix course for round 6. Round 7, back to Deep Forest. And there is some familiarity here once more, because we've got a Bathurst for 210 lappers. Back to Brands Indy. And then with Fuji being the final round in round 11, round 10 is the sprint layout, which we definitely saw a fraction of in the final round last season. I think logistically, we may be able to get a title decider on board this time around.
Absolutely.
No dramatic changes there in the schedule. Some popular venues.
Yeah, it's not fixed. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
And as Drone Cam flies to the back of the pack, thanks very much to Christian Shepherd and our technical newcomer, but not new to the experience of touring cars, Michael Swinnerton. And we shall
Thank
see
you very
you
much yourself.
in Brazil. Good racing, everyone.